We've been counting the number of bats within each of these caves, identifying the species, and collecting swab samples to contribute to this greater national white nose surveillance effort.
White nose syndrome.
White nose syndrome.
What is this white nose syndrome?
It's called white nose syndrome.
White nose syndrome.
The deadly white nose syndrome.
White nose syndrome is a devastating disease. It is a new disease, first detected in the winter of 2006-2007. And I can even remember those first random emails going through the bat community chain, pictures of these bats with this fungus on their nose. And anybody know what this fungus is? Nobody knew because it was brand new. It's caused by a cold-loving fungus, Pseudogymnoastis destructans, or PD. That fungus is not native here to America. Our North American bats have no adaptations to respond to it, and consequently it's devastating them.
Bats that are susceptible to white nose tend to share a common trait in that they all hibernate. Hibernation for a bat, there's a very narrow budget of energy that they're trying to make last for many months. So the way that white nose hurts them is by irritating their skin while they're hibernating. And just the process of waking up, cleaning off your wings and fidgeting around a little bit burns off critical energy, and the result is starvation.
We've lost at least 5.7 million bats, probably more. The fungus or the disease is now found in 30 U.S. states and 5 Canadian provinces. And we see devastating population declines wherever it goes. Some bats are very severely impacted by it, and we see almost total population collapse.
It has since spread kind of out from that spot down the southeastern part of the country and worked its way towards Texas at about a rate of 200 miles per year. Based on predictive models for how the disease was going to spread, it appeared that it was going to be funneled through the panhandle of Texas into the western states. We had clear battle lines drawn. We knew which direction the enemy was advancing. All of a sudden, to have it show up in Washington State, now it's coming from behind us as well. It's definitely not encouraging, and it is actually quite alarming. The challenge of treating white nose syndrome is much more complicated than just treating the disease. We can't just think about curing the bat of the disease. We also have to be aware of potential impacts to the cave ecosystem. If we sprayed a fungicide or some major disruptive chemical into a cave, we just don't know how that might impact the system. So the plan in Texas is to take advantage of this window of opportunity we have now to learn as much as we can about bats before the disease gets here, and be prepared if an opportunity to apply some kind of treatment arises. And luckily we have a lot of smart researchers working on solving that problem, but I think we still have a long ways to go. Nature is so incredibly complex that the more we look, the more we learn with pretty much any species. Each species of bat is unique, fills a specific niche, and we have so much to learn from them. The loss of any one of these species is a real tragedy.
This project was funded in part by a grant from the Wildlife Restoration Program.
Can you tell us how you caught this fish? What is it used for bait?
Porridge and I think corn.
Corn? Did you have a good time today? There's nothing more exciting in my life than to see a 2 or 3 year old catch their first fish. My dad taught me how to fish, how to swim, how to do all kinds of water sports, and I've done that all my life. I'm Rhonda Wayland. I have my U.S. Coast Guard captain's license, so you can call me Captain Mom like my daughter does.
Did you say that your dad built you a rowboat?
When I was about 4 years old.
We're out here today doing an interview with Rhonda Wayland.
Bass Motel, right there, no stick-ups.
We've quoted Rhonda many times in the San Antonio Express News on boat safety, and she's been a good source.
Catfish are an accidental fish that you catch when you're bass fishing.
She's 77 years old, still going strong.
I'm going to bring him around. That's a little baby bass, I think. We got a hungry juvenile here. All right, that's a beautiful little fish. I love to teach adults how to fish, especially women who have been picked on by their significant others for so many years. So now, when they get home, I tell them, don't listen to those guys out there. You know what you're doing now, and you can do it.
At that time, we were working on changing the fish limit, possession limit. We felt that if the fishing in Texas was ever going to be premier, that it needed to be reduced because of the number of bass fishermen that had exploded from the 60s to the 70s to the 80s. And with her help, the Texas Association of Bass Club was a leader in making that happen. She loves to fish, but she loves to give back.
This is bait that I prepared last night, and I put in garlic-infused oil.
Go, baby, go. Ah, thank you.
Yay! For 8 years now, the Region 5 game wardens and I do several kid fishes each year.
Awesome, look at it. Yeah. This is big.
I noticed her passion with fishing, and that's where I think we developed our bond. And she's been like a mother figure, helping me out and guiding me along the way.
Slimy, huh?
If you're going to teach a kid how to fish, don't take them out in a boat bass fishing. Take them to a dock in a state park. You don't have to have a license within the boundaries of a state park. Put a little hook, a little worm on there. Let them catch a crappie or let them catch a little tiny sun perch or something. Look at their expressions on their face.
All right, good job.
There's nothing more exciting in my life. It's wonderful.
There is a delicate balance going on between the fragile ecosystems where we live and the fossil fuels which we need. Unfortunately, this relationship can be at times a tenuous one. When accidents happen, a special team of biologists answer the call
With failing infrastructure for pipelines and with the increased activity, the number of spills that we see are increasing.
Because of all the drilling going on in Texas, they say that we are probably just as big as the Iraq field in Texas right now. We are only going to get busier.
They are the Kills and Spills team, and these first responders are needed now more than ever. Talco, Texas. An oil pipe has burst, and now the oil and sludge is choking a nearby creek.
Okay.
Our team
There you go. All right, good deal.
are the first feet on the ground, first eyes on the resources. We will go out and look for dead birds, oiled wildlife, and we also identify where the cleanup needs to begin.
Yeah, it looks like there's a pretty good bit of oil upstream and downstream.
Meet Greg Conley.
Its shell is open with fresh meat in there.
He is one of 4 regional biologists that coordinate response to these fish and wildlife kills across the state.
There's another small mussel. This is the